So how to create an assignment when you're in your class, the first thing that you want to do is up here on in the corner is turn editing on. That brings up all of the editing tools as well as add an activity or resource in every single block. So you'll see even the blocks that are hiding have that ability. So when I click on add an activity or resource, the very top one under activities is an assignment. So I'm going to select assignment, and I could read through this to find out more about it. I could click here to find out more, but we're going to simply add. So when we get to adding an assignment, we can, again, keep things as simple as possible, leave all the defaults, or we could tweak things a little bit here and there to have it as you want. When we're in assignment settings, we're going to take a look at the name. So this is the link that'll show up on the course page. You know your students pretty well. You might want to say submit here and then use a few words like that will always signify this is where you turn something in. This icon up here is what the students will see as well. So if they get used to the icon, then you don't have to use these clue words like submit here. But you could say, submit here, paragraph 1 or whatever. Under the description, notice again the asterisk there means that it's a required field. And so here you can keep it as simple as you want, and you could just say, please submit your assignment. Or if you want, you can cut and paste your assignment directions here. Now this icon right here, that little double line one, when you open it, you get a lot more choices too, just so you know. So you can cut and paste a whole bunch of text here. Say you had a complete, rubric and everything, you could put it all here. You can add a link, you can add an image, you can add I've seen teachers add video, you can add a file, and then you can also edit your text a little bit. One thing, when this does show up on the submit file page, it is fairly small. The one thing at minimum that I do like to do is just make it a little bit bigger. That's just easier for kids to see. At this point, you can go all the way down to the bottom, save, and you're ready to go. Your students will see the submit here paragraph. You don't have to do anything else. However, there are a few default settings that I do want to point out. So now we're going to go back in, and this is where I was looking for earlier, the assignment administration. Now we can go back and edit those settings, and it's the same settings as when we first began. So one of the defaults is that it sets it for a week long, or approximately a week, being allowed for students to submit. So if you don't go by due date so much, or you don't want that to be a hindrance to them, you can enable or disable the from and due date. If you put a from, that means they won't be able to submit anything before that time. This does not hide the assignment. This only makes it whether or not they can submit it. Going down a little bit, the submission types, notice that the default is a file, so that's a student will upload, and right here we have one file. You can let them upload several. It came up in another with a teacher that the student was trying to re-upload their file, and so we had to tweak this a little bit. We went into settings and let them upload 2 files, for example, if you wanted to do that. The other option, another option you have, is to allow an online text. So that gives them a little bit of a text box, and you can view what they've written online. Or again, if you want to keep it simple, just a file submission, and that's all you need. I would recommend that you added maybe a file or 2, just in case they want to take down their file and resubmit. The rest of it, honestly, you could leave alone, but we can also look at it. If you wanted to give them feedback through Moodle, here's where you would go. We have some teachers who are sending files back, but that's definitely slightly more advanced. Feedback comments, inline comments. You could keep them all the same. Submission settings, I would leave these the same. Otherwise, you're requiring students to click more, more uh, when they go to upload. Leave groups alone unless you're having one student submit for a large group and you have groups set up. There's no email. You don't need to be emailed that a student uploaded, so a file. You could leave those all as no as well. Again, I highly doubt you're using this for showing grades, so you could, the default is points. You could always say none, and just, or keep points in there and just say, well, I'm not putting grades in Moodle, so leave it alone. Common module settings, you don't need that either unless you're doing groups, in which case you might have separate groups. So let me go back to no groups. And restricted access, this would mean that you can make a restriction, like they have to take this quiz or read this article before they submit. So again, we're not going to change anything except for the first top ones. Okay, and always in Moodle, look for a save button.